Court does call the case of the people of the state of Michigan versus Martin Gray.
Arraignment flesh.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Pate with and on behalf of Mr. Graham, who stands to my right, please state your name for the record, sir.
Sir, I fired her, sir.
I'm sorry?
Me. I would like not to have this counsel represent me.
If I may, Your Honor, when I did speak with Mr. Graham this morning, after our discussion, he did state he did intend to proceed unrepresented today without me as his counsel.
Are you going to, what's your basis, sir?
I looked in the law library on things that would get me off, Your Honor. However, no matter how much information that
He isn't the first one to say the law librarian here, but every time it's special. Don't worry about it, Judge. I went to the law library, and I now know more than her. Simpson does not seem convinced.
I gave anyone, my defender did not look into anything that would fight on my behalf. So if I was given time or just an accurate law library myself, I think I'd do better without them. They don't talk to me. She just came and talked to me for the first time, but 20 minutes ago. And I asked her what did she plan on doing to help me. She said that you're going to follow the prosecutor's recommendations, and the prosecutor did this.
Prosecutor's recommendation. Prosecutor's not recommending anything.
Well,
So she couldn't have said that.
not the prosecutor recommendations, the recommendations of the what was that, probation recommendations. So I say she don't have any fight for me, so I don't need someone that's supposed to fight for me. That
doesn't have any fight for you?
Oh man. No, sir.
So out of all the people that she represents, it's just you.
No, it's not.
That's funny.
It's not just me,
Well, do you want to represent yourself, or you want me to get you other counsel? Because Miss Pate,
sir. I could try
very
counsel.
talented attorney, so she doesn't have to waste her time with you. You want somebody else?
Yes, I use somebody.
You do somebody else? All right. Then, Miss Pate, you can file. I'll permit the public defender's office to withdraw. You can get, when you have time, and trying to do whatever I guess you don't do. What you can do is you can file the motion with the court or an order with the court and ask that the MAC office appoint counsel to represent it. There's no reason for you to waste your time. What date do we have for sentencing?
February 26th.
No, it's gonna probably take longer than that, so give me a March date.
12th.
March 12th, all right. And I'll adjourn the sentencing to March 12th, 2025 it's a 9,
Yes.
at 9 a.m. and public defender is permitted to withdraw. And again, Ms. Pate, get that order into me after you speak with the back office. Thank you.
Thank you.
Monday, I did one case.
Nice job, you did.
No, it was one case. And all that happened. You. No. How does this thing happen? Anything happen this way?
Benny Rose.
No. Simon's in the room. So that's how that all, I get it. I just, things happen that way. Court calls the case, people versus Jamie Pike.
And now we're down to people of the state of Michigan versus David Thompson. Kyle.
All right, you might not remember this. This guy is our SovCit divorce case. I might have to do a playlist for him eventually. I kept thinking it would stop, but there's more. we're not precisely in the divorce anymore. We're in the AG's office is going after him for failing to pay child support, and I think a contempt claim at this point. I'll have to hunt down the links. It's good stuff. Speaking of which, I have to thank Zach, Angela McMaster for a clip that's coming up, and Mary Alice, who sent this to me, who was, yes, indeed, married to this guy.
24-3559FH.
David Howden, I'm appearing on behalf of the AG's office.
Mr. Thompson is representing himself, and I'm advisory counsel in this matter, but I can advise the court there is no other case.
All right, so Mr. Thompson is now here, making his way to the defense table.
Yes. Oh, sorry.
Just call me David, you're on.
All right, well, all right, so we are currently set, so you can have a seat. Just as you may have heard me say earlier, don't take any thought. I have nothing to know about the case. I'm just going to tell you that, as I do to anyone here for a final pretrial conference today.
Of course. Happy birthday, Leslie. Thank you very much.
Is the last date in which to enter a plea pursuant to any pretrial agreement. Any plea from here on out must be done by entering a plea as charged. The reason I do that isn't to punish the defendant, isn't to punish anybody or encourage a case to go in any one direction. It's just to encourage you all to exhaust any negotiating that you've got to do, because everybody's got to issue subpoenas. Subpoenas have to be served by police officers or process servers. My staff has to issue jury notices. 60 different jurors have to reschedule dates and times and take off work, and employers have to do the same thing. So again, there's no punishment. It's just to make sure that we have exhausted all of our negotiating skills. So we have no resolution. The case is currently set for a trial right now. I know we have 2 trials set for February 18th. Excuse me, this one is set for 1 day. The other one was set for 2 days.
And I was going to.
I don't even know how it would take a day. Did you pay all this money? No. Okay.
On behalf of the AG's office, I think that they're planning on it. Ask that perhaps we keep both of those on. The idea being that we'll be able to conduct both of those trials in that 2-day time frame.
And was there a jury demand, I assume?
There was, yeah.
All right. So I'm going to move this to start on February 19th. So that way we have the 1 day to do the other file and the 2nd day to do this case. So I'll issue jury letters to 4 sets, 4 panels, 2 for each day. So Mr. Thompson, that means that even though your notices say that our trial was to begin on the 18th, we're going to begin it on the 19th. We do jury selection in the morning. I need to remind you that your choice to represent yourself, you're making that on your own. Is that correct?
That's correct.
You understand the court can appoint an attorney to assist you?
Yes,
Yep. I know.
That's
Yeah, I
about
know
right.
he's helping you,
yes.
but you understand that he's not really representing you. Like, in other words, he's not doing the cross exam, direct exam.
That is correct.
All right. And you understand that while it might seem illogical, I have to, by law, require you to follow the same rules in the courtroom. Okay. So if you need to enter a piece of evidence an exhibit into evidence, you're asking questions, you're going to have to follow the same rules. Okay. And just make sure you say yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Every person has a right constitutionally to due process, and every person also has the right to represent themselves. And again, I also just needed to make sure today that you are making this choice to continue without counsel. In other words, representing yourself on your own. Is that right?
That is correct, yes.
And the key issue when I say on your own, no one's forcing you, no one's pressuring you. It's your choice.
There.
Don't worry. It's hard to hear for a little bit, but at the end, he makes a fantastic argument.
Okay. copy
Not
that.
really. He does make an
May I?
argument.
Yes, sir.
It's my understanding, Your Honor, that there's a conflict of variance in the law, equity should prevail. I'm prepared to wrap this up and settle all of this. It's done here in this venue that's exclusive of Article 3. Constitutionally speaking.
I appreciate that interest, but I can't. Hey, let me explain to you why, very briefly. The law and the constitutions for both the state and the United States direct that each side, and that's important, each side has the right to a trial with a jury of 12 impartial persons. And I'm really just sitting here. I don't know anything about the case other than what I see on the charge sheet, which just tells me what there's 2 charges of failing to pay child support.
Correct.
If you all can't negotiate that between you, I don't really get involved other than monitoring the cases and making sure I know when I've got to be here and what's going to trial. I don't get involved. And even now that we have a trial by jury, I'm not involved other than I'm telling that I run Tiger Stadium here. I mean, this courtroom, and this stadium will be available for the 2 parties. That's it. Okay. So I appreciate that might be your interest and that might be an objective. I can't make a ruling unless there was an appropriate motion. Now, in a criminal case, you can't file a motion to dismiss. I'm always surprised by how many attorneys, not these 2 gentlemen, would file a motion to dismiss in a criminal case. You can't do it. You can in a civil suit. That would be different. But here, we can't do that. The law does not allow me to resolve this case unless you were all doing a trial without a jury. Since you're doing a trial with a jury, all I'm in charge of is monitoring Tiger Stadium. Okay?
Could you please repeat yourself the last 2 sentences, because I heard something in there. I want to make sure I heard it correctly.
Hopefully I got it right. You can't do a motion to dismiss. Well, you can in the middle of the trial when the prosecutor rests. If the prosecutor doesn't prove each element, then you can do a motion for a directed verdict pursuant to Michigan Court Rule 6.429. 429 or 419. I think it's 429. You can do a motion for a directed verdict at that time. Until we get there, I can't dismiss a charge. There's some other rules, like if he violates the 180-day speedy trial clock, right, and you're sitting in trial in jail. But other than that, there aren't any ways that I can dismiss the case unless this case is before me, there's no jury, and it's in a trial. So if you requested and waived your right to a trial, by the way, Mr. Denhouten would have to waive his right to a trial, and I would have to agree. Since you both have told me you want a jury trial, or at the very least Mr. Denhouten has, I can't decide the case. That's all.
That's what.
That's okay. It's all right. That's what I'm here for.
I do appreciate you bring up the Constitution, because the arrest regarding when I was arrested in this matter was done ex parte. I had no notice of this.
It's okay.
With their client.
An arrest warrant can be issued ex parte. The law allows that. There are rules that allow a district court judge or magistrate to issue an arrest warrant based upon a complaint.
Under the rules, but where does it say that in the Constitution? Because I've been reading that puppy backwards, forwards, upside down, sideways.
It doesn't. It just says it just says an arrest without a warrant is illegal. But the Michigan law doesn't, Michigan law tells us what we can do, or what, not we, but law enforcement can do, because they don't work for me. I don't work for them. They have issued a warrant.
Right.
And they did it according to the rules.
Yes.
Yes.
And Marbury versus Madison, any law that Congress or any legislature passes, if it violates the Constitution.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. He said Marbury versus Madison. It's a case we all have to learn in law school. It's not going to help here. It's sort of the case that makes the Supreme Court what it is, loosely speaking.
It's null and void on its face. I'm not here to argue. I'm just
that's okay.
Making you aware of
It's-
what's happened.
It's been a long time since I had that class, which was common law, where we had to deal with Marbury versus Madison. I'm aware of it, but as of right now, there's nothing to address. So bond continues. We'll see you on the 19th, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor. I
Yes.
appreciate your time.
Thank you. We are calling up all that.
Okay, looks like we have both counsel connected. We'll go on the record in Casper versus Casper. This is file number 2419733. If I could have both counsel put your appearances on.
Yes, thank you, Honor. Jennifer
I don't know what's going on here. I believe it's a love boat scenario. I think Zach sent it to me.
Zelaznik appearing on behalf of the plaintiff, Rebecca Casper.
Good afternoon again, Judge Elliott Blumberg on behalf of Mr. Casper, who is appearing via Zoom from my office.
Okay, thank you. This is set as a status conference today. Just looking through the file, the court had previously ordered mediation, which I think was delayed due to Ms. Casper having new counsel. So just kind of want to get an idea of where the parties are at, if you've been able to have any discussions and what both of you want to see going forward for scheduling Ms. Zelaznik on behalf of plaintiff.
Thank you. Yes, Your Honor. I do not believe that mediation was delayed on part of Ms. Casper retaining alternative counsel. In fact, when I was retained as counsel, it took me a little bit to get the complete file, but once I was able to get the complete file in reviewing that, I noticed that Mr. Blumberg had not completed and served the response to the discovery request that was served in September by Ms. Casper's former counsel. I have since, unfortunately, found it necessary to file a motion to compel. That is scheduled to be heard before you on February 18th. I'm not sure if the court's received that yet. The biggest delay is just that Mr. Blumberg hasn't provided documents necessary for us to even negotiate any type of settlement, whether it be between counsel or at mediation. So I'm just I'm asking for attorney fees because I put quite a bit of effort to communicate with Mr. Blumberg about the discovery responses, and there is nothing in that discovery request that is overburdensome. And so we're asking for values and documents to verify the values. And that should be like produced in, I would say, less than 24 hours because it is causing a delay. And I mean, if the court is inclined to have my motion hearing, I'm fine, but I really need that in order to proceed forward with mediation. And also, we were going to have mediation scheduled February 8th, but Mr. Blumberg did not want to proceed with mediation on February 8th because no, I'm sorry, it was before then. It was before our hearing. I can look back, but I did communicate with the mediator and there were some dates available, and I think it was February 8th, but Mr. Blumberg did not want to proceed with mediation on that date. And I was like, it was because he was saying that we can't resolve the child related issues. And I really don't know why he didn't want to proceed with mediation, but I was inclined to proceed with mediation with even limited documents because I just need to get verifications of amounts. And I think those are things that could certainly be produced during a mediation.
All right, thank you,
Yeah.
Mr. Blumberg.
You know, Judge, I'm sitting here listening to this person make these statements to the court today that are baseless, that are wrong, and I take offense to it. I mean, the fact of the matter is the major asset of this marriage is the marital home that needs to be appraised. I asked predecessor counsel what her—
Oh my. Now I see why Zach sent it to me. That's fun. Her expression was great. He just gave her the classic Dan Aykroyd, Jane, you ignorant slut.
client be willing to split the cost of an appraisal? The answer is no. I've had no communications with Ms. Zalesnik about this matter. Any discovery that's been sent will be answered. If she needs to file a motion to compel, rather than calling me and asking me when we can have the answers, that's how she wants to operate. But I refuse to sit here and listen to these misrepresentations. I've been in front of you all day today, and I've never had another attorney speak like this woman has done. I take offense to that. I want the court to know that.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'm happy to show my emails where I've tried to communicate with Mr. Blumberg. I don't want to go back and forth like toddlers in the sandbox, but good Lord, Judge, I have tried to work this out with Mr. Blumberg to no avail, which necessitated me filing this motion. I very rarely file motions to compel. Not very many times, but I can show you but I don't know that this is the appropriate forum. I think that the appropriate forum, number one, for my motion to compel is the February 18th hearing. What I'm telling you is not baseless, and it's inappropriate for Mr. Blumberg to state that, but I am happy to share my screen with you and go through the countless emails that I've had with Mr. Blumberg, trying to get mediation scheduled, trying to get the discovery response, all of the communication that I've had with Mr. Blumberg thus far regarding the discovery request and the response has been attached as exhibits to my motion. So you will see my efforts.
Let's deal with it at the motion, okay? This is a status conference.
He asked why there's a delay. And you said you haven't spoken to me about mediation, which is false, Mr. Blumberg.
What I said was mediation would not be productive without an appraisal of the marital home. And your client and you have refused to participate in the expense of that.
You've never even talked to me about it.
Sure, okay. Anything else we need to talk about, Judge?
All right, I think what we should do is go forward. Ms. Zalesnik, you already have that noticed up for hearing and it's on the docket.
Yes, Your Honor, on February 18th.
Okay.
At 10:45 a.m.
Okay, so let's go forward with that motion. Let's see what the result of that is. It sounds like that's information that would need to be disclosed if it hasn't been, and if it's appropriate for purposes of mediation and for that to be successful. So let's go forward with the hearing. I'll set this for another status conference on the same date as the hearing on the motion to compel. And I'll just ask counsel in the meantime to try and have some discussions that are a little less rancorous so that we can move forward with the case.
I think this is what the judge is trying to say.
There was, and I hate this. They thought a bunch of dick pussy, going back and forth between texts with one another, and I never want to hear it again.
We'll have a ruling on the motion on the 18th, and we'll go forward from there. So that's all for today, and we'll counsel.
Judge, are you going to put a deadline on I mean, I really would like to get a deadline on mediation if there is a possible way.
We'll address that at the motion hearing, because if you're saying that you need those documents to be able to go forward with mediation, then I think I need to rule on the motion to compel, because if I rule in favor of Mr. Blumberg on that, then that may affect the deadline for mediation, and if I rule in favor of you, that may affect it as well. So I think we need to get that taken care of, and on that date, depending on which way the court rules, we'll set a deadline for mediation.
Judge, can we address the issue of the appraisal of the marital home? Or is that for another day?
Well, I mean, if you guys are either going to agree to split it or you're not, and if you're not, then I suspect it would have to be the subject of a motion, or one party pays for it and asks for half of it as part of the judgment. I think, you know, absent some other circumstances, I think the default position is the parties would split the cost of it. I don't see why they wouldn't. Maybe there's a good reason why they shouldn't split the cost of it. And again, I think that would have to be the subject of a motion. Or
Well, I don't know that it's the position of my client not to split the motion, but she is covering 100% of the costs of the house at this point in time per that order that was entered in the court prior to me being involved. But I don't know that she has the financials in order to do that, but I can certainly check with her. This is the first time that Mr. Blumberg's ever mentioned splitting the cost of the appraisal.
Okay.
I don't even know who he's wanting to use, but I think an appraisal needs to be done so that we get a current value.
Okay, so again, I mean, these are things that normally council can work out.
Yeah.
I would ask that you again, in the spirit of some cooperation, try to get past this hearing and work together. If you can't, then we'll have to have more motion hearings in front of the court to have the court order how those things will happen. So either way, none of it's noticed up for hearing today. Mr. Blumberg's right, it's supposed to be a status conference. I anticipated just setting some dates. So that's what we'll do. We'll go forward with the motion hearing on the 18th. The court will set a mediation deadline on the 18th. If any other motions are filed and notice for hearing between now and then, we'll address those on the 18th. Otherwise,
Well, this judge is all sorts of reasonable and has a great judicial temperament. He's just not getting drawn into any of this.
they'll have to be set for hearing on a different date if there are matters that council can't agree on.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Okay,
Judge.
thank you. You're both free to disconnect at this time.
Thank you.
Judge, I think I have one more. Am I next or should I come back?
Magistrate, this is Mr. Corbett.
Okay. Mr. Gorovich.
You don't know my name. I have 2 birth certificates.
You have 2 birth certificates?
George Newber Alice, Sinai Hospital, W. Zoc, Dollar Bub Dollar, get stock, it's pronounced W. Zoc.
Let's get one thing straight here, sir. There's 2 charges, 2 criminal charges have been brought against you.
And
We're
David,
going to make sure that you understand what you've been charged with.
I
And
don't
we're going
know.
to set a bond.
Read my rights. I haven't been fingerprinted
I'm
in
going to,
a shot.
it would be better for you if you just listen for a while.
This isn't fair.
Don't make this hard on yourself, sir. The only one that's going to be negatively impacted by disruption is you, not me. This is 25R00234 and 240230. Both of them are people of the city of Royal Oak versus David Justin Gorovitz.
Dollar Bub Dollar.
Good
Ms.
afternoon.
Johnson?
Good afternoon. Teresa Johnson on behalf of Mr. Gorich. We are here via Zoom for today's arraignment. I believe there's an arraignment on a bench warrant for the 2024 case and a new arraignment that needs to happen on the 2025 case. I will indicate that I did advise my client about his charges and attempted to discuss with him his rights with regard to the charges. As much as I was able to get through were the nature of the charges and the fact that they were misdemeanors. However, even in identifying himself, he gave me
I need to go to a hospital.
a name that was unintelligible, as well as some numbers identifying himself. And then he also gave me the name that you mentioned and that I identified him as. He said I did not know him. He also said that he did not trust attorneys nor judges, and he would not allow me to speak. I explained to him that this was the first process, that we were going to try to get him into a hospital so that he could, in fact, get some help. And he refused to allow me to continue to talk and advise him. So I'm not quite sure. I think he understands, because he said he doesn't want to be in jail. He did identify being in jail. And he knew that he was in the Royal Oak jail, but that he shouldn't be there. He did not commit any crimes. And he also began to talk about a sealed juvenile record that does not allow him or anybody to have him arrested. I explained to him that he's an adult now and that if he does something as an adult, that's separate and apart from any juvenile record, and that was sealed, and he became belligerent and combative. So I was not able to fully advise him of his rights.
Okay, well, I misspoke on the caption of one of these, one of these cases, the 2024 case. The plaintiff is the people of the city of Berkeley. Now, I have muted Mr. Gorovitz so that he can listen to us, and I will inform him that it is alleged in file 2402300 that on the 26th day of November 2024 at approximately noon, he was in the area of 3155 Coolidge, which is near Beverly Street, and that he is charged with committing the crime of larceny, as well as the crime of malicious destruction of property less than $200. Both of these crimes are punishable by up to 93 days in the Oakland County Jail and or a fine of $500. In the other file, the more recent file, 2500234, the people of the city of Royal Oak versus David Justin Gorovitz, it is alleged that he committed the crime that he did engage in fighting or in violent, tumultuous, or threatening behavior. This is a misdemeanor for which he could be incarcerated for 90 days and or fined $500. As to both of these matters, he has the right to a trial. The trial can be before a judge or a jury. You can't afford your own attorney, Mr. Gorovitz, an attorney will be appointed for you. You would have the right to confront your accusers, cross-examining them under oath. You'd have the right to testify at your trial or not, and if you choose not to testify at your trial, your silence cannot be used against you. You have the right to be presumed innocent until you're proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. I'm going to enter a plea of not guilty on his behalf in both of these matters. He's not speaking now because I have muted him.
I'm not sure. He just pulled his pants down and moaned to the court. So I don't know if you want to turn the video off as well. I don't think we're recording live or anything, or maybe we are.
Yeah, we are.
We are. Okay. Well, yeah, that may be. I just would ask that the court, thank you for the arraignment and the reading of the information on both matters. I am asking that the court consider an order for competency. It's my understanding that there are no drugs or alcohol that are causing Mr. Gorovitz to behave in the manner that he is right now. And it's my understanding that there may have been some combative behaviors as I'm watching him on the video now with some people.
My favorite part of this hearing is when, in a little bit, the judge asks her if he's exposing himself more, and the look of disgust on her face, which is completely appropriate, but it's funny.
At the jail, so I'm just wondering if the court would sign an order to get him evaluated for competency.
We are going to recall the bench warrant. This is typically done at the pretrial.
Yes, but I don't know that we're going to get to a pretrial magistrate Chisholm if they don't get him some kind of treatment.
I don't think he's smashing his head into the window.
He is not, but it's my understanding. One of your other officers mentioned that he allegedly assaulted some staff over at the jail already. 2 different. So, and thank you for recalling the bench warrant for the 2024 file. I'm just asking for a reasonable bond so that he can get to and from the hospital or transported to and from the forensic center. He is homeless.
It's got an address here in Oak Park on both of these, same apartment number.
Okay.
I'm presuming that he's going to need appointed counsel.
Yes.
noting that, I'm doing that on, not because he's asked, but he just needs a appointed counsel.
Yes, based upon his representations that he is homeless.
He's not. This is. Sandy, he's created something of a hazmat situation over there as well.
Mm-hmm.
You,
I would do it.
would you ask Tammy if I can have a copy of the order that we would send him for a psychiatric evaluation? Competency exam, I think would be the more correct way of phrasing.
I'm sorry, Magistrate?
I was saying that a competency examination would be the more correct way to phrase it than I
Yes.
did for at first.
That's a, yes. Thank you.
She says she'll be right in, or somebody will be right in.
Okay. I don't see him now.
The court officer moved the video away from his cell.
Was he exposing himself again?
I don't know. It looks like I could see him in the camera, in the background.
Oh, it's Harold. Yeah.
Oh, you're on mute, Harold. Oh, I think Magistrate, you may have to give him permission to come off the mute.
I'll ask him to unmute now.
Okay.
Can you hear me now?
I had to put this thing down. I can't hold it indefinitely up on this here.
He is still choosing not to participate, I presume.
Yes, sir.
And we're attempting to look or to get a order for a competency exam.
And I'm standing in your end, so anything you do to expedite this thing, I would much appreciate.
Okay. And we're kind of on hold waiting for the court administrator to bring something down.
Just right down here, and I can hear you. I guess you can hear me.
We can hear you.
What a minute.
Only 5 filed.
So fucking severely, I'm getting out of it. You fucking pig, I'm getting out of it. You're gonna be punished so fucking severely, big shit. You fucking pig shit. Every pig shit's gonna be so fucking punished. I'm getting out of it. Ask the CIA and FBI, you fucking pork butt.
Okay.
Do we address bond for the 2025 file?
Well, I haven't set the bond on the 24 file was set by at $10,000. Recalled the bench warrant.
Yes.
Set a pretrial.
That's the fucking truth.
We'll have to set a bond in each one of these. And
Yes.
I want to see what the interplay is between the bond and the competency exam.
I better not have a bond to pay. I better go to a hospital, faggot.
There is a form order for a competency exam.
I think you can put it, I think I've seen Mike can do it. He would just endorse it and we would put on, are you setting a bond?
Sure.
I don't bond. I think Judge Meineke done it before. He would put on a commitment of CRA to have him go and undergo like a forensic evaluation at the OCJ. I can, if you want, I can go upstairs and like with Meineke. Because we have a very generic order form. I can get you a generic form.
Is there a bond set with that too? So the bond, we set a bond and direct that you have a competency exam.
My wife, yeah.
For jail to do it.
Okay, would you mind getting that?
Not, oh, you may have the file so I can show it to him. Would you be able to?
What's you? Well, what we're going to do is move on to the next two people.
Okay.
But for now, his conduct in the jail is not just questionable.
Okay.
He is ranting, raving.
Okay.
There is excrement.
Okay.
We're going to move on to one of the other two, and then we'll come back to Mr. Gorbitz.
Thank you.
What is, delay activity?
And Magistrate Chisholm, I can waive his presence for the remainder of what we have to do when we circle back for his cases.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're all set on this.
Okay.
person. We're waiting on Mr. Your yes. You don't need to go to his place now. We have to finish it up, but counsel has waived his presence at the balance of the arraignment.
Okay.
Keep you in a more sanitary part of the lockup.
So we've got to go back to him, or we're going to do it later?
No,
No,
I think
we
we
don't.
don't need to go back. We do have to deal with his file, but we don't need to put you in proximity, into physical proximity with him.
You're the best. So I can sign off here?
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Ms. Johnson, apparently there is language that has been used that would provide a bond and then direct the sheriff to handle the examination.
Transport. Okay.
And at this point, I'm waiting on the language that has been suggested in other matters as
Okay.
practical and efficient.
All right. Do I have a couple minutes?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Dennis Morrison.
Good morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Mr. Morrison.
All right, fair warning. I didn't have a chance to see this. It's Judge Mom. There may or may not be anything exciting in here, but I just threw it up there in case.
And I show that you have from October 21st of 2023, a displaying the wrong license plate, driving without lights when required. August 3rd, 2023, failure to maintain financial responsibility. Second, November 29th, 2023, displaying wrong license plate, operating vehicle with expired plate. And March 21st of 2023, I show that you also had a failure to signal turn. So those are all capias pro fine. What that means is you previously pled, you set up some type of arrangement, you totally failed to keep that arrangement, and here we are. So tell me, why didn't you keep up with your cases?
Back February of last year, my daughter had a brain injury. She's been down in the University of Southwest in Dallas. Neurological Center. Yes, ma'am. She's still down there right now. So.
And when was that?
The first seizure occurred back in February 17th.
Well, this isn't fun.
Of last year, of 23 or 24, and we moved. She was air flighted from here down to Dallas, and that's where she's been ever since. So I've been back and forth down there. It's taken every bit of the money that I've had.
Do you work?
I do. I'm a bricklayer. I work for Gay and Sons Masonry out of Stephenville, Texas.
So you're working now?
I haven't been because I've been back and forth from here, from Amarillo down there, and the weather's been cold. It's not allowed us to work. The temperature depends on whether we can we can labor it or not.
When was the last time you worked?
Before Christmas.
And so you pretty much have been working
No, I haven't.
until Christmas.
On and off, yes, ma'am. When I go back and forth, I go check on my daughter. My wife's down there. She's staying with her full time.
Sure.
They both work for Excel Energy.
Your wife and your daughter both do? How old is your daughter?
Just turned 27, November 3rd.
Okay.
I have all that documented. I can show you phone stuff.
Well, I don't disbelieve you, sir. You're no help to anybody in jail. So you got to figure out how you're going to pay these tickets. And you've ignored it, and then you had all these warrants. So, but you've been at warrants since April. I mean, I don't see that you've done anything to take care of these.
I have not, Your Honor. Every bit of money that I've had.
I heard you, sir. But it doesn't. But you ended up with warrants, so you're no help to your family in jail or with warrants. So you have to address the situation. So do you have a resolution on how you're going to be able to pay these? You haven't made a payment since February. And honestly, you made some payments in October, November, one in December, a $17 payment in December, 17. You know, I mean, these are all tickets that you just basically ignored anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I'm incredibly sympathetic to the situation with your child. You know, you still have to address this.
From here on, I can pay $50 a week. I've got that figured out.
How are you going to pay $50 a week if you haven't been working?
I've got a little bit of money to live on. I mean, that's, even if I don't work, I can get out and find $50 worth of work every day.
I would think that a brick mason could find some good work. A good brick mason can.
Well, I've done it for 40 years. So.
Well, I mean, it's a noble job.
Hard work. Yeah.
It is hard work, you know. My uncle was a brick mason his whole life. He had polio as a kid, you know, walked around with dealing with that, and was an excellent brick mason. So, I mean, I have a lot of respect for that, but I don't know. I mean,
I'm asking you to just give me a chance, one more chance. Better do right. I'll make my payments, take care of my responsibilities.
Do you own your house or do you rent?
I'm renting right now.
So was your wife able to take like FMLA, or is she just working up there?
She took both, but she works from home.
Yeah, I thought that most Atmos people worked remotely now.
Yeah, it's Excel Energy.
Excel. Yeah, sorry. Well, I'll give you your 3 days jail credit. I will release you. You do need to be here no later than 2 o'clock tomorrow. And just, Mr. Morrison, you really don't have a good record with our court. You've missed court dates. You've never come to court. Never taken it seriously. So I'm going to give you this one shot solely because I'm going to believe what you told me about your child. I don't think anybody would lie about that. But you have a long record with this court of not doing what you're supposed to do. So time to grow up. I mean, you're same age I am, and I'm old.
Me too.
So, you know.
Thank you, ma'am.
Well, just get your stuff done. We'll see you tomorrow too. Dustin Knight?
Yeah, you see, if I would have seen that, I would have taken it out. Oops.
Speaking of people whose names we see here, you have from January 29th of 2024, a no or defective brake on bike or motorbike. From July 2nd of 2024, no insurance. You didn't take care of those. You still owe $440. I'll give you 1 day jail credit. Why didn't you take care of your cases?
The one that I got, brake light.
That you set up some type of an arrangement on, I guess.
Yeah, on the brake light thing, I thought I already had served that out when I went to,
No.
yeah, I didn't do jail credit for that. So I did like.
We already gave you jail credit. You've
So-
got jail credit on all of these cases already, and then you got out and you were supposed to come in and see the court.
I thought the light thing was supposed to be like already over with, because I did the time in Potter. And
Did you do time in Potter?
yeah, for criminal trespassing.
Say it again.
For criminal trespassing.
When was that, sir?
That's somewhere around the same time as I got the ticket for the break. Then I went to jail for criminal trespassing, and I had that same ticket, and I thought I was supposed to get credit for that.
See, here's what I show. I show that you came to court and Judge Ratliff ordered you to do community service, and you signed up for your community service, and then you never came back.
I have a lot of back pain, and my my
So you
fiance.
didn't come back and talk to Judge Ratliff about that?
I tried to, but I was too late.
No, we set you a hearing for you to come back. That would have been perfect for you to come back and talk to the judge.
I was hoping we were going to get some IBS.
The time
Sorry?
I was late there to the appointment.
Well, then you would have just stayed and talked to her at the 11 o'clock court time. We have people that are late all the time.
I went to try to go to the 2 o'clock one.
Mm-hmm. Every day. We have it every day. Okay. Well, I'm going to remand you on those. You're not going to have to stay much longer, 2 more days
3 more days.
on that one, but we have more to talk about. You also have from November 18th, 2024, this is probably why you didn't come back. From November 18th, 2024, you've got a driving with an invalid license, a failure to yield at a yield intersection, a failure to maintain financial responsibility second, that one's punishable by fine, $350 to $1,000. How do you want to handle those? You can plead not guilty, no contest.
Which is number 1, wrong.
Guilty.
Okay. Now let's talk again about this whole Potter County thing. Have you been there since November 18th of 2024? Sorry?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Have you been in any other jail since November 18th, 2024?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So I'm going to find you guilty on each one of those based on your plea of guilty. Now, you didn't want to hire a lawyer or have a trial. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. So on the driving with an invalid license, having found you guilty, I'll assess a fine of $469. On the failure to yield at a yielder intersection, it's $330. And on the no insurance second, it's $733. Give you 1 day jail credit on each. Your balance is $1,082. Mr. Knight, when you get out of jail, I need to see you here at our court, okay? So when you get out, if you get out in 2 days, I need to see you the next day. So theoretically, you would be in Tuesday and Wednesday until like 8 a.m. on Wednesday. And then I need to see you Thursday.
That's fine.
Okay, now sometimes the jail lets people out early. We will not give you jail credit if they let you out early. So when you come to see me, If they let you out early, you're still going to owe me that money for the $150. Okay? So just understand that if they let you out early, I still need to see you the next business day. Thank you. You may return to your pod. Mr. Grimes? Mr. Grimes? Hi, Mr. Grimes. How are you today?
Well, sir, how are you, ma'am?
I'm good, sir. Thank you. Mr. Grimes, I show that you have from back in 2020, right before COVID,
Oh, she looks happy to see Mr. Grimes.
an animal at large, a rabies vaccination, and vaccination tag on the animal Sheba. Sir, those are all city ordinance violations, punishable by fines of $1 to $200. You have the right to hire a lawyer and tell me you want to have a trial. I will tell you if you plead guilty or no contest, sir, you're actually time served, but you're certainly welcome to set these cases for trial. What do you want to do?
I want to plead my case because the dog attacked the lady during the COVID period, and the lady died. And I was doing my civic duty to protect her. I broke my lawn furniture to try to get the dog off this lady.
Wow.
Went through the girl the other night, and she was walking down the street, packing bags and stuff, and the dog just came out of nowhere and attacked her. And I broke my lawn furniture.
And why'd you get a ticket?
Tell me. The dog just come out the blue and attacked the lady. And I do my duty to save her life.
At 2:30 in the morning. That's crazy.
He was going after her throat. If he had got and hit the dog with the chair, he would have got her and killed her. But I saved him. I saved her. She's dead now, bless her soul.
Oh.
A neighbor of mine across the street.
Okay, well, it looks like you previously entered a not guilty plea. I'll give you what's called a PR bond. Now, you've had one of those before and you messed it up. That's been a while ago. That was several years ago. So I'm going to give you a bond. You don't pay any money up front. But if you don't come in on that bond, we're going to make you go get a bondsman. Okay? So I need to see you on the date and time listed on that bond. Should be tomorrow at 2. But, if you change your mind and you decide you just want to plead on it, your time served, you can plead no contest. Or I'll see you tomorrow at 2 and you can set your case for trial. Sounds like maybe that's what you need to do. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you good?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you. Mr. Relaford? Mr. Relaford, you keep getting these tickets for soliciting. Not allowed to do that in the city. Okay. Well, you've got one from November 1st and you've got one from December 2nd.
How do I keep getting these soliciting tickets? I'm a victim.
How do you want to handle those, sir?
It's got ammo.
Okay, you want to plead guilty or no contest?
Guilty.
Guilty? Okay. Well, you get 2 days jail credit on both. I'll find you guilty. It's $414 each. I'll give you those 2 days jail credit, so you owe 114 times 2, so that's 228. I'll see you no later than 2 p.m. tomorrow, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Corbett.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Mr. Corbett. You have, looks like you have a couple of capias profile cases totaling $890. Why did you not take care of your cases?
Oh, ma'am, I was just being irresponsible.
Okay.
I have a job and I'm able to pay them. I was just being irresponsible.
Why, where do you work?
Corbett Masonry, it's a bricklaying company.
See? Good business. So is that your father's or grandfather's or?
Grandfather's and father's company.
Where are you in your becoming a mason journey?
I'm a laborer right now, so
Uh-huh.
am like the gopher,
Just learning.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
Well,
ma'am.
do they know you're in jail?
Yes, ma'am. I'm actually missing work right now. I'm my dad's helper and
I'm
missing.
sure he's super happy.
Yeah. No, he's not.
No, I didn't think so. How many employees does your dad have, or your grandfather, whoever it is?
Me,
Okay.
I'm the only laborer right now, and he's the bricklayer. So he's probably just out there by himself right now.
So when it was cold out, you heard that other guy talk. Were you guys able to work?
Oh, well, it's not as bad as he says. Like when it has to just be above freezing and we can work. Because the mud,
I kind of felt the same way.
yeah, it's not as bad as he said, but like if it's above freezing, like if it's 33 degrees, we can work. We'll just dress nice, dress warm, and we can work.
Right. Okay. I am going to find that you're not indigent, that you failed to make a good faith effort. I am going to remand you to the chief of police of the city of Amarillo. What that means is you stay in jail until you either pay the $590, you get $150 a day jail credit. So I gave you your jail credit already because you owed $890. Now you're down to $590. So you can make a phone call, see if somebody will come pay that for you. Otherwise, it's 4 more days in jail. Now, here's the so the moral of the story, Mr. Corbett, is you like to drive, obviously, and drive maybe quickly. But you need to slow it down.
Yes, ma'am.
Slow it down, and you need to, when you get tickets, take care of them.
Yes, ma'am.
That other brick mason that was in there with you, he needs to be a life lesson for you. Don't be like him.
Yes, ma'am. So I have a question.
Yes.
If I call my grandma and she brings the money up here, can I get out today?
Yes.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
If your grandma will do that for you.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Maybe. So, and you've been super irresponsible with your insurance. So let's talk about that. Now you have a running a stop. This is from, let me go back to October. From October 29th of 2024, you've got a failure to maintain financial responsibility second. That's punishable by a fine of $350 to $1,000. Here's what I'm just going to tell you right now. You might not care about this. I do for you. You are now going to be in the position where your driver's license is going to get suspended.
Yes, ma'am.
As you get tickets and you don't take care of them, there's a way that you could have resolved these tickets to keep them off your driving record.
Yes,
but
ma'am.
once you get to this position where you're at warrant, even if you had come in person, I would have said, I'm not going to do that with you. I'm not going to allow you to do deferred disposition because we take that offer out. We won't accept that offer once you're at warrant.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
if you'd gotten a no insurance second, October 29th, you were supposed to be here within 10, 12 days.
Yes,
You could have come in and said, Judge, I want to plead not guilty to that today. I want to defer or put off a finding of guilt so that I can go get insurance. But you ignored that. Okay? Then you got, on November 13th, another no insurance ticket, operating an unregistered motor vehicle and defective brakes. So it looks like not only did you have an accident in that Honda Accord, you didn't have insurance. And I guess, did you buy it off of Facebook? Why wasn't it registered?
It just isn't registered to my name.
Who's it registered to?
His name is Nathan.
Who's Nathan?
It's my dad's friend.
Is it, but you drive the car?
Yes, ma'am, because we bought it.
So that means it's an unregistered motor vehicle.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
I mean, you got to follow the rules, Mr. Corbett.
Yes, ma'am.
The rules are, we live in a society where we all have insurance, we register our vehicles, we read stop signs, we stop at them, all those things, that's just part of life. And it makes everything go a lot smoother in our world if we do those things, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I mean, do you understand the reason why we do things like that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Because then you've got all those tickets. Now, the good thing is you've got that 2 days jail credit. The bad thing is these tickets can still be expensive, those no insurance tickets.
Yes, ma'am.
And again, it's going to cause the state to suspend your driver's license unless you go get SR22 insurance. That's between you and DPS. So we can break these down one by one, but you remember all these from October 29th, November 13th on I-40. Ugh.
Yeah.
Then November 19th at Southwest 4th in Bellevue. You can plead not guilty, no contest, or guilty.
No contest.
On all of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'll give you your 2 days jail credit. What that means is you're going to have a balance of about $800 something. Nope, more than that. 1, 2, 3. It'll be about $1,200-ish dollars.
Yes, ma'am.
To release you, you have to appear here at our court when?
Tomorrow
By when?
at 2:00.
Be here by when?
2:00.
1:30.
1:30. My bad, ma'am.
So you
Or
can be in the court, or 10:30, so you can be in the court at either 11 or 2. And well, tomorrow,
I didn't get it right either.
unless your grandma says she's not paying for you, which I wouldn't blame her if she did. So if she doesn't accept your phone call and you have to sit in jail 2 more days, so it'll be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which will really make your dad mad. So if you have to stay in jail Tuesday, Wednesday, then I need to see you Thursday.
yes, ma'am.
But if you get out today, because your grandma's probably really nice and loves you and wants you out of jail, then I need to see you tomorrow. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. You can go back to your pod. Ms. Connor?
Yes, ma'am. Good morning, Judge.
Good morning. You have from April 26, 2024, a failure to maintain financial responsibility second. You previously pled not guilty. Do you want to maintain that plea of not guilty, or do you want to change your plea to guilty or no contest?
Well, because I got into a wreck. A semi hit me, and I was supposed to come up with my insurance card, but I guess my girlfriend didn't have insurance like I thought she did, so I wasn't able to do that. But
yeah, so then you should have come back and told us that.
well, yeah, I thought I set up payment arrangements already. No,
On a different case, you had already done.
Oh,
Do you want to
okay.
plead guilty or no contest?
I guess no contest.
Okay, your time served on that one. Then on the no driver's license, you had set up to pay, you were supposed to pay the whole thing in full. You said, oh, I'll pay the whole thing in full within 2 weeks. And that was back in July.
How much?
It was 200, and then you didn't pay it, and they even pushed the date out for you, and then you didn't appear. They sent you a pending warrant letter.
Wait, I lost my job, ma'am.
Okay, you still should have come in and talked to the judge, Miss Connor. I don't think these are your first tickets, are they?
No, they're not, ma'am.
So you knew you should have come in. I mean,
Well,
you've had a lot of tickets.
I was going through a lot. Like I said, I was going to the doctor, seeing a chiropractor from the wreck and stuff. And yeah, you're right. I should have came in. I did not though, and I apologize for that.
Mm, that's good. So I think, is that the only Cape, hey, Tori, is she just had the one KPS profile? Is that right?
Yes, ma'am. I saw one KPS and one standard.
Okay, thank you. So you're served on that one. But you know, Ms. Connor, I mean, you know how to do this. And I get it that I do get it that when you go through life struggles, it's hard to come in and talk to the judge. But, you know, I'm going to talk to 3 people who are in there who turned themselves in, and they're going to get to go. I already know that. I've already I told them that right at the beginning. When you walk into the court voluntarily, you almost always walk out voluntarily.
Yes, ma'am.
But you can't, so if you go, you know, Judge, I lost my job, I'm looking for a job, can't find a job, blah, blah, blah. We'll talk to you about those things. We have options, okay?
Yes, ma'am. I actually have a job you set up for me as soon as I get out of here, so.
Good. Well, just make better choices and understand that sometimes that responsibility of paying that ticket means coming in and being creative with how we can figure out how to get it paid. It's not, I don't expect you every time to, I want you to think about, oh, I need a plan, but I don't expect you to always have the plan. I expect you to come in and go, I'm trying to make a plan.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay? You don't have to come in with the solution. You have to come with the willingness to get to the solution.
Well, I don't want to go through this again, so I'm like, I definitely will, whatever I need to do, because I'm just trying to go home.
I wouldn't want to stay in jail.
Yeah, they just transported me from Potter to yesterday.
I saw that too, and you had tickets in Potter.
Yeah.
I'm like,
I know, man. I'm sorry. I'm like, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you sat in jail. Nobody wants to be in jail.
I don't.
I took a vote right now. The 4 people sitting behind you, I don't think anybody would raise their hand and go, I love being here.
Right. No, I understand.
It's not a life goal. Okay. The life goal is to do what I can do to not go to jail. What can I do to not go to jail? Oh, I can go back and talk to the judge and see if I can get something worked out.
If you could just give me a little leniency and just let me go, please.
Well, your time served on the one and the other one, your time served on a capias. I think your time served on both of them. Is she time served on both of them, Tori?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So you don't even have to come see me, but just next time, so you don't go to jail, go back and talk, because you'll get other tickets probably. Go back and talk to the judge.
My driver's license after this.
Well, get your driver's license. You're probably gonna get a suspension. You're probably gonna have to get SR22 insurance. You need to do the things that we all have to do.
Yes, ma'am, I agree.
And you're gonna get past all this. Okay?
Definitely, yes.
Okay, make better choices.
So do I get to go home today?
No, I'm not keeping you. I want you to get out of the room so I can start talking to you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Judge.
Okay. Thanks, Miss Connor. Have a good day.
Miss
Corona.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Corona. Miss Corona. Miss Corona. These cases are so old. It's got to be a lifetime ago to you. Why? Oh, take one step forward because the microphone won't pick you up. These ones from when you were a juvenile, you pled to them as an adult, or we saw you. We saw you when you were an adult, but you needed to get them paid off. Are you still working at McDonald's?
Oh, yeah, well, I did quit, but I got rehired 2 years ago, so now I'm a manager and I'm getting my stuff together.
Are you going to keep your job?
Yes, ma'am. I've been there for 2 years now.
Okay, so like going to jail, it'll still be okay?
Yes, I had my mom talk to them yesterday. They said I'm off Monday and Tuesday, so I should be good.
Okay.
Judge, McDonald's isn't so fussy about these sorts of things.
Now, let me tell you this. You have an assault by contact on Trayson. Is that Trayson Curtis Nash?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that a boyfriend?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That case is from July 12th of 2019. Now, if you plead to a case involving this doesn't show to be an assault on a family member. If you plead to an assaultive offense, it could affect you negatively. So, we've never seen you on that because that got filed after the last time we saw you. So it says it's from Southwest 45th in Georgia. Like maybe y'all got in a fight right there on the street or something. I don't know. You don't have to talk. We don't have to talk about it, but you can certainly plead not guilty, and I'll give you a bond on it.
Yeah, I'm not guilty because I don't remember that.
But you know him though?
Yes, he's currently still my boyfriend.
Oh, he is? Okay. Well, maybe you guys can get that worked out with the prosecutor. So that one I'm going to enter a not guilty plea, set a bond of $500. Is he 4 years younger than you?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you know Gregory Kinsey? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Never heard of that name.
This involved,
Okay, the judge just wants the dirt now.
I'm not going to say this name right, Davajay Marshall, you, Kelvin Harris, Chatney Majors, Gregory Kinsey, and Trayson Nash. Does that ring a bell?
Yes.
Yeah, so I don't know anything about it. I just know the people's names that are listed as being involved. So what you can do is when you come here, you can file a motion for discovery. If you wanted to, if you wanted to look at the evidence in the state's file, you could set it for trial. I don't know. You have options there. So I don't know anything about that.
Those two that you're telling me about, that's
Yeah.
the one.
I can't hear you.
I only know about the one from high school. I don't know about these two that you're telling me, but they do sound familiar.
Yeah, I don't know anything about that one. Okay. Then the ones from when you were like a freshman, I think in high school, you owe $942. I will give you 1 day jail credit. I'm going to release you. I need you to reset your payment plan. Okay. So I need to see you on all of these cases no later than 2 p.m. on the first business day following your release. So if you get out today, I need to see you no later than 2 p.m. tomorrow. If you get out early today, you can come see me at 2 p.m. today, but if you miss 2 p.m. court, I'll have to see you tomorrow. Okay, I'm not sure you'll get out in time because it's almost 11. Okay? And we'll get this kind of stuff kind of squared away.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Oh, okay, thank you.
All right. I think we'll leave it there. Leave it there. We tried with Judge Mom, started with a depressing one, and didn't get much better. It's the way it is sometimes. But we had lots of fireworks earlier. Thank you all for coming out. I appreciate it. I'll see you soon.